Hey, how's it going? Oh, nope. Okay. Forgot to put on the microphone. Hey, how's it going? And I just realized the other day I did it again and went pretty far into a video before I realized I was not wearing the microphone, and I listened to it, the playback, just to see if it was salvageable, and I said it sounded like I was in some kind of a machine room or engine room. And I just realized it is because on the other side of this wall that this counter is attached to, because this place is a cracker box, the exhaust fan, that's the bathroom, it's the exhaust fan that's running, and that is the big loud noise, and I can't believe it's vibration. I can't believe it made it sound like I was in the belly of a ship on the sea, like, you know, driving or whatever you call it, with all the engines going. It's just a little fan. Okay, PSA over. So I pulled two cards, and the first card I pulled was from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, number 15. Dust Devil, and the subtitle is Moving Out of Stagnation. So it's interesting. There is a dust devil, a literal dust devil. Wow. It's dark now. Either it's too bright or it's too dark. A literal dust devil, okay? And one of these days I'm gonna get it right. And not yet though. Hold on. I'm gonna have to get this right one of these days, but now is not the moment. I'm going for a certain tone here, and it's definitely not sunglasses. So I think the key is not to do this at night. Natural light coming in the window over there does not give me sunglasses while I'm trying to record this. I'm not trying to be mysterious, and also I'm trying to see. You may have noticed the squinting in that. I need help. So anyway, the Dust Devil card is, you can see it's like a plateau taking place on sand, literal sand. Can you see that? Okay, I don't know what's up. The card on the monitor, all of this looks dark, and to just my eye, my unaided eye, it's like golden. Well, it's not like golden sand. It is golden sand. In fact, the Dust Devil itself, well, it's white. I'm not sure if it's golden. It does not look golden, but it could just be washed out from this silly light. I just want you to be able to see it. But in the middle of it, see how it's a column? In the middle of it is like a human form. You can see like legs and arms and whatever, but also a face here, and it seems to be wearing like a crown type situation. It's definitely like the sand swirling, but you get this impression. And there's a country, I think it might be like Turkey, that I've seen like really, well, I don't know, like ancient pictures of men wearing these tall conical hats with like decorations on them, is what it looks like. But then I've also seen like footage, like people still wear them today, I think, and I guess it's a religious thing. Anyway, that is kind of what it looks like is on this person's head, and I just thought that was interesting. Wow, you know, it actually had, like, the face is pretty clear, I don't know how clear it's going to show up on here, but see, whenever I film these, I feel like it looks terrible, and then when I'm watching the playback, and also when it's been uploaded to YouTube, they look fine. So I'm just going to point it out and trust that you can see it. So this is the face area here, and it's actually the clearest indication of what's in the middle, what's standing in the middle of that swirl. But it's also got an arm upraised, sort of. Well, not sort of, it just is upraised. And that's the other thing that you can see sort of clearly. And that's how you know that there is a person standing in there. So this is symbolic of, wow. I talk about the dryer of thoughts, because sometimes too many things start coming in and it just starts to spin, and it's like the thoughts are a bunch of bounce sheets flying around in this, you know, dryer rolling situation. This is like standing in your own dryer of thoughts, and the little this person doesn't have much on their mind. I mean, there's just a couple of small pebble looking spots in here, but could be that anything else is not discernible because it doesn't want to be discerned with clarity. It's not ready to be exposed, even to this person, kind of. Although I would imagine that everything is in there, right in their face. You know, you can only ignore stuff so long, and then you find yourself in the middle of a cyclone because you neglected to pay attention when you should have to things. I am going to read from the guidebook and see what it says. 6 and 5 break down to the 6, just in case you're wondering about numerology. And 6, I better remind myself with a note, but I can talk about that in the information box. Let's call it the right thing today, at least. 6 blah 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 box. Yeah. Anyway, it says, embrace the chaos. Trust in the process. Moving out of stagnation. The presence of the dust devil causes a ruckus. Some people are afraid of his chaotic nature, believing that he comes to intentionally stir things up. The truth is, you can't expect this dream alley to behave, to bring niceness, to be clean. His power is in the mess he creates as he calls for you to engage in the cyclone of life. I'm just going to interrupt myself here to talk about, I mentioned before that I pull the cards early in the day, and then whatever happens during the day informs what I'm going to say here. So actually, right before I started doing this, I clicked on this video that, well, it said it was going to be about Jimi Hendrix, and part of it was, but it was actually a Mothman video. And the part about Jimi Hendrix took place in a band that he was in with, I believe the guy said Charles Knight. I don't know who that is, so I don't know what band it was, but I know that he was on the Chitlin circuit for a long time. It may not have been a band that we would know today. But anyway, they're on the road. They're in a blizzard. They run into a snowdrift and stall. And even though there's like a whole gang of them packed in this van, and the heater's running full blast, the temperature's dropping, they're understandably getting worried. And then they say that they get drowsy, and the announcer says and I thought the same thing, like, why are they getting drowsy all of a sudden? Because I'm waiting for like all of the electronics in the car to go dead because of the paranormal presence. But I said, what is there, carbon monoxide leak? And the guy's all, we think there may have been a carbon monoxide leak. So anyway, I guess Jimmy was sitting on like one of the windows, and the announcer was telling a story, like repeating a story that they'd heard, and from this fellow band member, this Knight guy, and he said that they all were starting to freak out and like freeze, like the heater just wasn't working anymore, and they tried to like get out, but they could get no traction, so they were just all sitting in the van getting drowsy and depressed. And I don't know exactly what alerted their presence to it, and there must have been a glow because they saw collectively a triangular shaped but long and tall and I guess narrow cone thing descend out of the sky soundlessly and like slowly, I guess. Although I don't know how fast something like that is supposed to go. Haven't seen a whole bunch of them or any, so I don't know if it's like what's fast or slow for something like that. But I guess to their perception it was coming down slowly. And it did a number of interesting things, like it sort of melted the snow around where it was. And then a hatch opened, it slid open, I guess, and a tall figure stepped out, and it was darkly complected, the figure, and it had red eyes, and once it came out of the cone triangular object, flying object, it took a couple of hops and then like flew, like unfurled some leathery wings and flew up in the air. So they're just watching this, right? And then the thing comes closer to the van, and as it does, it's exuding some kind of light, and I'm thinking, well, it's exuding light, and then the snow immediately around and under the van melts, and they start to get warm again. And, you know, the blizzard is still fully happening out there, remember? So, then the creature descends to the ground. No mention of rate of speed on that, but it dropped to the ground and stood next to the window that was next to Jimmy, and they were just staring at each other, and the other band members were like, well, I'm not sure what they were doing because he didn't really say. I would imagine they were freaked to freak out because apparently it was Mothman, and I don't know too much about people seeing it up close, that close, like, you know, through a window glass talking to Jimi Hendrix. But he did later say that their memories didn't come back about the incident, or his at least. I think he said the other guys just didn't talk about it at all, but he said that his memory didn't come back for like months about the incident at all. So that's interesting. But one thing that he said that caught my attention is that while that Jimmy and the Mothman evidently were staring at each other through the glass, they seemed to be communicating telepathically. And once they did that, were done with their conversation or whatever, the Mothman went back over to the ship and got back in, and the ship went back up, descended back up into the sky and took its light and its warmth and went away. But they were able, after that, to get back on the road and continue their journey, because they were in, I don't know, I think West Virginia, I think is what he said, and we're headed for New York. So I mean, it worked out. But the thing about it was later he was talking about all these other incidents where there was appearances of it in pretty well known, well, just world famous tragedies like Fukushima. Evidently there were sightings of Mothman there. Same Chernobyl, where before the incident actually happened, there were sightings of a flighted man bird with no head but eyes sort of coming out of the shoulders. Yeah, I didn't know it didn't have a head. I always thought it did, but apparently it's I don't know how to do it. Its eyes are like here in the shoulders, which, I mean, I was gonna say weird, but I think we're past that now. And it was just that it seemed to appear, what am I doing? It seemed to appear a lot before some sort of disaster. And it's interesting that people take that as, that thing is evil, it makes bad things happen, rather than it's saying a bad thing is about to happen, run for the hills. There's so many appearances of these things at nuclear plants, though, that's like, if you work at one of those places, it should be mandatory knowledge that if you see a freaky bird flying around the plant, run for the hills. So maybe it's not a bad thing. Like, we distract ourselves with the stuff that we are afraid of and completely miss the point. So back to the dust devil. I might come back to the Mothman too. But anyway, dust devil, he represents two aspects to you now. The winds in your outer life appearing to throw you off course and throw debris, which would be some thoughts that you have no use for anymore, that are not serving you, just like taking you to a lower vibration when you don't want to be going that way. You want to be going upward with it, where you assume the world is coming at or happening to you. And the winds that churn inside you, with the dust devil arising from your dreamscape to help you escape your inevitable chains, shackling you to a barren desert. Yeah, that's to me like more attachment stuff that, I don't know, we like our grudges and we like our sad stories about ourselves, and I mean, I'm only going to talk about me, but you tell me if you haven't heard people become a huge victim in their own stories. It's not a judgment, like we all do it. It's just a step along the way. Stop asking for things to be perfect. Awkward, messy, conflicted, exuberant, and wild is how you shift. Trust this process. The dust devil knows what you need and when you need it. Once things settle, you'll see the gleaming jewels awaiting your discovery, the wisdom awaiting integration. So, from chaos comes order, I guess. But that's true. We do sometimes struggle when we're aiming not only to succeed, but just also to continue moving forward, you know. Okay. I forgot what I said in the first part of that sentence, but it seems germane. The hell was I talking about? Oh. The messy process of shifting. Well, let me harken back to other videos where I've talked about this recently, the shifting. That's an aspect I don't think I really touched upon very much. The messy chaos of it, and also just the unexpected wild moments of happiness, because it's an ever-changing thing, like a cyclone flying around you, and it's, you know, propelled by your emotional state, really, because whatever happens to you, I mean, there can certainly be external considerations, but you know, it's up to us if we want to live in the middle of a storm or not, you know. Like, we really have to understand that if it's up to us, we are in charge, and how we feel, what we say, what we think, it all contributes to our mood and our circumstances. And oh my gosh, my ears are so hot right now. Why do I always think of Dumbo when that happens? Shut up. Just the name of the elephant. It's not a personal characteristic. You be still. Speaking of Dumbo, the other card I pulled was from this beautiful deck, the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, and it's Elephant. And well, I wasn't going to read from the book, but I'll just bring it over here just in case I feel like you can add something. Let me find its area. Okay, so first I'll talk about the impression that I got before I look at the book. So this elephant has lived through definitely a cyclone. I don't know if it was a cyclone of its own. I feel like animals operate differently from us, and they don't have that type of storms. They don't cause that kind of chaos in their own lives. Everything's pretty well arranged, you know, like certain outcomes are expected, and it's just the natural order of things. But occasionally some wild card will come along, and that, I think, would constitute a major storm for these animals, these people, because they're losing hab, because, you know, progress, construction, civilization, and, you know, I think the march of civilization has a lot to do with affecting climate change. People get so upset about, like, who did it? Who's causing it? What made it happen? I need someone to blame. Yes, the Earth will go through its own changes, but it's not like we don't have an effect on the changes to a degree. It's silly to think that we can't, because we can. And the thing that it messes it up for is us. The Earth can recover. We have to be a lot more careful with our soft little bodies and constitutions. But this maternal element in the chaos on the feminine Earth planet, I think they, like, know each other well and feed each other in various ways, not just food wise. But this element, this elephant element is the ember tender. It carries the spark of life it needs to live. Warmth, light, to gather around in times of darkness, to prepare sustenance, to see clearly by. Goes first and knows first. That's why it's so thrashed. It'll put the babies behind it and say, I'm gonna go find the safe way to go. Not the supermarket. Boom, boom. I apologize for that. But it leads the way out of darkness, you know? So you want to follow someone that's been there, done that, for sure. And this mother element is gonna do its darndest to keep its, what do you call a whole bunch of elephants? I should have looked that up first. Well, a family of them, let's just call it that for now. I guess I will go ahead and read from the book. The elephant. Unstoppable, auspicious, wise. The elephant is arguably the most auspicious figure in the deck. Like Ganesh, the elephant represents immense wisdom, as well as good fortune. It is said that the great elephant is the destroyer of obstacles. So if this card appears when you feel stuck, rest assured the path will soon become clear. To add to the mystery, the elephant is also known to create obstacles in order to steer us in the right direction. Trust this gentle, noble creature It illuminates the way with the light of self-knowledge. When in balance, one pointed focus, generous, loving. When out of balance, misunderstands fate. I think that is another way of saying tries to force situations to bring into balance, trust. And I wonder on that last bit, do we trust in the elephant, or does it go both ways? You know? So, I think that this is like a guiding light, and this may not be darkness per se, but it is occluding our vision. You certainly can't see that clearly. In fact, you want to be careful opening your eyes in a dirt devil, because it's sand, and if you want to continue to see clearly, you don't want to expose your eyes to sand, whirling sand at velocity that's aiming for your soft eyeball. So you have to maybe close your eyes and guide yourself from within, which is a good quality, or it's a good option anytime. You should always, whatever you're going to do, take a moment to consult. Just ask yourself, is this right now a good idea? So, but it's a process, you know, and maybe we need some leadership through it. You know, certainly we can learn our lessons and become more independent, but it's also perhaps a good idea to have someone who's been there, done that, and is steady in the face of chaos and uncertainty and all of the things that come with a major shift, a birth, growing from an infant through the stages of toddler, adolescent, teen, you know, young adult, whatever it is. It's all like a learning process. It's a bunch of steps, and we have to spend time on each step learning that one, learning about ourselves and our place in the world. And we get to do it while all this is going on, because we have emotions that get out of control, or just get heated and are hard to control. Or, you know, we're just spinning with blissful ignorance and happiness, and it sounds good, but it might be a little chaotic around other people, you know. So you need to learn discretion, but also maybe you need some guidance there too. So it seems like, yes, there's definitely some storms going on right now, and a lot of individuals are feeling them, and a lot of individuals are traveling through them for many, many reasons. But we all have to sort of watch and look out for the ember tender so we can follow the right path and use wisdom and sense to continue on our way, because it's an ongoing journey and process forever and ever and ever. Amen. Thank you and good night. Can't see. Okay, bye.